What's going on, Annie? There you
Hey,
are.
this is Richard back at you. We got Annie in the house. We got Miss Teresa on the camera. We got Alan's truck in all the way from Kansas. Can you believe that guy's a long ways away? But we've been talked to him back before we closed down and moved everything out to here. So we got it in here. It has no second gear. We've done all the diagnostics and stuff on the electronic part of it. No codes for any solenoids or anything like that. So we did a drive with it with a scanner. The computer is telling the train to shift, but there's just nobody home. So let's get this thing apart really quick. We're really excited to be in here in our new building, tear down area, build area, whatever. You know, we're really excited. So we're going to get this apart and see. Now, we have a factory converter, TMBX. This thing has 70,000 miles on it. We have a new B and I torque converter over here, TMBX, ready to go out of Oklahoma. Really good guys over there take care of us tremendously. I mean, everything's been really good since the move. They're all going to bring all of our parts to us just like nothing ever happened. So, pretty nice. I'm not sure exactly. Let me get this oil drained out here so I'm not hearing it as much.
Yeah, we don't know how to do this just yet because normally I'm on his other side.
Yeah, normally she's on the other side, so we're going to kind of do this a little bit different. But anyway, we have our lockup O-ring here.
Ooh, I like this new setup.
Kind of firm, actually, pretty hard. Almost ready to break, I think. Got a basket here. We're going to start putting some bolts in right off the bat. That way, we're just not scattering them all over the bench. Kind of try to do a little bit cleaner job. Everything else is cleaner. Let's might as well change that. Now you notice here, no oil hardly ever will run out of the upper bolts, but oil will run out of the bottom bolts. These two here, you definitely want to double seal these some form, fashion, or way, because this is where your pressure goes through your pump body and pump stator body and into the case right through here. So you definitely want to seal it really good there. What I like about it, I set the autopsy table up with Teresa's idea on the boxes on the end. Helped us out a lot. We can.
You're welcome.
Anytime you can make it easier when you're in hand reach of things like that, when you're not walking 4 feet to get to something, sure makes it a lot easier.
It's called more functionable.
Yes, ma'am. We have our O-ring, square cut, that seals your tail housing to your tranny. Now, if you notice here, there is a little weep hole here. If this was a two-wheel drive, this right here would spray oil on your tail housing bushing to keep it lubricated back here in the back. In a four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, they did not plug them. 480E transmission, remember me talking about that? You had a plug that went back there that lubricated the bushing or plugged it off for the four-wheel drive. Teresa, we have no fluid in the connector. Now this 2003 year, I guess right there must be a split where they make two different wiring harnesses. One for an input speed sensor style and one for a non. So when Raymond sent me my parts from Transtar, he sent me both wiring harnesses. That way I could just get on down the road and keep on going without saying, hey, can you send me another wiring harness? So he just makes it really easy for us. And we'll put it in stock if we need it. If not, they don't mind taking it back at all. So that really makes it really nice. Now I talked about the servo in this thing here. You can air check this servo in two places. You can air check the overdrive servo cup and piston. Then you can air check your intermediate area to apply your band too. So this tranny had no second gear, but it had fourth and it had third. So that tells you, I was talking about how the pin travel, when it goes into fourth, this pin physically can travel a little bit deeper in and apply the band in fourth, where in second gear it might not travel as far, and that's why you don't have second. The band's just finally wore enough to where the pin can't reach it. but it'll reach it when it puts pressure through this hole, out this hole here, and behind this piston to plow forth. See, so that's probably what's going on. You could have welded to the pin maybe and got it going, but the band, it's 70,000 miles, and he pulls a lot of trailers with this, which physically he just bought it. And I don't think they've had it real long, but he did tell me that the older gentleman pulled the fifth wheel or something like that. So, now he's already serviced it once to try to fix it, put solenoids on it and stuff like that. Didn't help it. So I don't know what's really going to be in the pan. Because I just drained it actually. A lot of these you can't get out, but it looks like he put a new one in there. A lot of these earlier 406Ds come in, we'll update the filter in the pan and just get rid of that flat pan. We have so many pans sitting around that helps them out another quarter. Real cheap, not having to buy a high dollar pan or anything like that. Now you remember he just serviced this. So you can see the shrapnel in the pan. Now they did trailer it all the way here too. So they didn't drive it. So it didn't take much to put that trash right back in the pan. Filters new too. You can see kind of the little bit of trash in there. It's not pretty yellow like the factory one is.
I don't know. I think we might need another light in here.
You think we might need another light? You can see here.
Oh yeah, there it is.
What they look like. So, but you really do think we need another light, Teresa?
No.
I like it because, man, I'm telling you, the older you get, the darker it seems.
Yeah.
So we'll get our detent spring loose here. You can double these. Sometimes you can cut them off if you got a four-wheel drive vehicle or something like that, and your shifter bounces around a lot. You're out the river and stuff. You can take and cut this off right here and double stack this spring. And it makes it a lot firmer, or a lot harder to move the shifter. You can still move it real easy, but it keeps it from jumping out of gear, when you're hitting bumps and stuff like that in the road. So we got a river around here, so we did a lot of that stuff to the 400s and stuff too. And we have our 3.2 downshift solenoid. We have our PWM solenoid here. This solenoid here, you always got to pull the clip right here to get the valve body off. See that right there? Now we do have a solenoid tester. I think I found it. I'm going to try to do a video on this and show you. We can physically pulsate these injectors or injectors. I'm thinking race car already. I mean, I'm so ready to go racing. I'm ready for summer to get here. We've been doing nothing but work. But anyway, my same injector tester will test these solenoids and stuff. We can pulsate them, we can clean them, we can do everything with them. So that's one thing good about that. But I will do a video on that right there too. So now he did say he cleaned all the solenoids. Or put new solenoids in there, excuse me. Getting a little ahead of myself. I'm excited to be here doing this. You can barely hear the air compressor running. We have it in another building, but you can physically barely hear it. That new Quincy air compressor we got, man, I tell you what, that 80-gallon one, the industrial style, it's really nice, huh, Teresa?
Yeah.
But it's in a totally different building. We have our lockup solenoid here. Try to stop that. Let that go through again. There's a lot of fluid in there.
Yeah, and you want me to put those rags in my washing machine?
Well, I was going to throw that one away.
So.
I was going to throw that one away, actually. But it's kind of noisy. But we're going to put a new harness in this. This, like I said, he's from so far away that we're not taking no chance at all. No chance. We're going to try the new recording system out. So if y'all think we need to do something, let us know in the comments. We do have the gain down quite a bit. I think we have it on 5 on both speakers, on both mics. So, all new. Don't really want to go back to electric right yet.
First comment. Is is don't speak when you're using the air gun.
I hear you. I hear you. Heard that comment before, huh?
Yeah,
it's hard not to. I'm just ready to get to going. It's been what? How many months since I built the tranny? 3 months? 3.5 months? Something like that?
Yeah.
Quite a while.
Quite a while.
But we have our longer tins that hold our pillow switches on for our computer to see what gear it's in, stuff like that. These little pillow switches, you can take a little small screwdriver and push on them, they'll click. If they're, a lot of times, I wish I could clean show you, some of these rubbers right around here, these O-rings are pushed out and stuff. That some of them you can change, some of them you can't. It's just really impossible. But if not, just get a new one. Be done with it. Then we have our 3 little 8mm here. Little L shape, what I call it. And then we have all of our tins here. And of course, we have some short tins here. And then we have our, I call it a splash guard for your dipstick. Keep oil from splashing on it so you can measure it. Very simple. I tell you, I can really see in here good for some reason, Teresa.
I don't know why.
We have our forward accumulator here. Of course, it's plastic. So we still have some parts coming in. So we'll be replacing this to aluminum here. Spring and valve out so you don't lose it. And then we always get in here and Scotch-Brite this whole surface area right here. Make sure it ain't scarred up where, you know, piston got so bad it's sitting there just rutting it down the sides. If it is, I mean, I'm not sure if anybody makes a repair kit for that. Now we do have our PWM pulse width modulating lockup valve right here. Of course, you know we don't ever like to leave it original. If I can get it out of there. Now, when you take this out, a lot of times this end plug right here, you'll see wear right here a little bit on the end. But if you flip it over, this end here looks brand new. Now Sonex does make some with O-rings on them, I believe, that you can put in there that helps it seal even better. So I would always flip that over. Now this one is the one that I put the 2 check balls in and I just block it. Makes it really easy. I put a check ball in here, one in here, put the spring in, and put it all back in together like that, and put the clip and stuff back in it. And then it just blocks the PWM valve right there. Makes it really nice. Some triple disc converters that we use, it can really make it too violent, and we actually go back to the PWM with a triple disc. We've kind of done it all, so we kind of know what's overkill and what's not. So we don't like dropping the pins at all, not even one time to do anything. All the check balls seem to be here still. Have our detent, or not detent, but our lever rod here for detents for our park reverse neutral drive. So the check balls out of here. Next time I won't drain that converter too. Try to stop that from draining. Got your 3mm 8 shorts. Did you see where I put that at, Teresa? In the basket.
Yep.
Okay, we usually wash everything by hand, but the parts washer we have works so good that, I mean, it just gets all the grease off everything. Now you see here we have a round hole, square hole. If you see here it says valve body VB. Don't get them mixed up. Round hole, square hole. This one have a C usually, right here, case. See, so you gotta be, you can see it through there too. C, case, through the hole. Do not get them mixed up, it will not work. Look at your check ball seats. Get this off here. These right here, where all your check balls run. Make sure they're not beat up real bad. And we always go back to a rubber ball and get away from the metal balls so it doesn't beat them up like this. The 48 RE Dodges We like using the check balls in them. They work really nice. We have our overdrive accumulator.
It just looks like a splash ready to happen.
Yeah. Let me try it. Maybe I just let that grease run out. Maybe it'll go faster. The drum's empty. That's why you can hear it so much. But
They may not be able to hear it.
yeah, they might not. I can hear it.
I know.
But anyway, couldn't get the pin out here. It's probably stuck in there pretty good. You can't really want to grab it with pliers or anything because you can scar it up and it'll be ruined. Just Scotch-Brite this hole up here in your overdrive accumulator. Like I said, we double stack them, get them cleaned up and stuff. Put some oil on there and stuff. Always Scotch-Brite, no matter what. It runs really smooth in the board. So tried to get that all out of there. A little bit more. There we go. A little quieter. Okay. We do have one check ball right here in the case. You can leave it in there, leave it out. It doesn't matter once you block that accumulator. So, good to go there. Lost my air blower. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Right in front of my house.
He's getting used to everything.
And he's taking off.
You're making noise.
Of course, we have our intermediate accumulator piston springs here. Now, the one we're using is going to have a long shank instead of the short shank. Stabilize the piston a lot more. Scotch-Brite this up. Now, if you're using a shift kit, try to get your piston up as high as you can to the top here. That's how I like to do it. I don't like to leave them down 1/4 of an inch or so. A lot of them do that. Always try to stack it up to the top. Okay. Now getting your park linkage off, you can go in there and push the parking pawl down this way, turn the shaft, it'll lock it into park, and then you can get in here and get to that bolt. Pull it off. Pretty simple. And here's your parking lever here. And then you notice here, a lot of times when you put it in park, you hear that click, 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 click sound. This is spring loaded. And this lever is trying to go in and it's hitting the notches down on the ring gear, but this is sitting there doing this. See? You can put it into park, and as it rolls, you got it into park, and as it rolls forward, click, pushes it in. So if it was solid, you could never get it into park unless this physically was lined up with your keyway or whatever you want to call it right there. See? So, but that spring lets you put it in park, and when you roll far enough, it goes ahead and shoves it in there. Pretty simple. Well, we did not have the late model wiring harness. We don't have a speed sensor here, so we won't be using that one harness. I want to get my bunch of stuff around. I think I got it. I didn't get it out.
Trying to get used to where everything is.
Oh, I'm telling you, everything is totally different. It's actually still, it's in walking distance. So, we got our 5 pump stator bolts out. Pump stator bolts. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to stick your finger down in here and see if you feel any rutting where this shaft's been touching down in here. If this bushing wears right here, it will let the input shaft rub down in here where your 4 sealing rings go. So you want to make sure that hasn't happened. You want to check and see if there's any wear from here to here. From your filter to your suction. Looks really good. We can look here and see what type of boost valve we have. Get that out of there. we go. Now see, here we got a 2-ringer. Right here in the center. They'll make a 1-ringer. If they have a 1, always put a 2 back in no matter what. If you have a 2, you want to go a little bit bigger, you can get a boost valve, you know, a Sonex boost valve or something like that, and up it, the pressure. Some of your boost valve kits will come with different springs here too. Pretty simple. Check your bushings. Really good. This is your lockup valve here. You always want to take a small screwdriver. Make sure this valve pushes in right here and spring loaded. You can get here and make it move too, that way. But you want to make sure that clip is in there and this isn't cocked. Make sure that's all nice and flat. Change your filter seal here. Your new reverse drum seals here. New wide bushing there. We don't like using the narrow like this one is. Our new bushing will come all the way to the end. So, put that over there. We have a 2-spring pump slide. Pretty common. Now, they do make an early and a late gasket too. See this right here? The later is like this. The earlier doesn't have this little tail, or what do you want to call it right here. So, and you don't want to put an early on a late. You can do late back, but not the other way around. Did you understand that, Teresa?
I get early and late mixed up, so I think early 2023, you know.
Late is lately. Early is earlier in the years.
Like 1960.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's where I get confused.
Yeah. Now your pump slide, you always want to look here for any wear. It really doesn't wear on all the way around. It really tries to pick on one side, it seems like. If you look on, really can't see it here, not much wear. You'll see it through here, and it usually comes across this area right through here. Not so much around here. Kind of like a one-sided thing. And of course, down in here, you want to look for anything. Starting to see a little bit of color I thought I'd seen right here. But we'll update that to a lot better style. And of course, our guide O-ring there, guide ring. And your pump rotor, it looked pretty good. We could put a washer in and move it in a little farther. It was about midways, you can see that. But it'd be nice if it was in about, 80 thousandths more or so. So you could put 3 washers behind the torque converter, move it in a little bit. You can kind of see here where this guide, or the pivot pin for the slide is wearing. Thank you, Teresa. Of course, we got a new one laying over there ready. Of course, our kit comes with ring here, your O-ring here. Don't want to forget your little spring. Don't want to lose that. And we do have an O-ring here. And we have a front seal retainer here. Now, we always glue our front seals in with 3M, and we also glue our retainer. Now we do put a coated bushing in here. Now this bushing only comes out one way. It's got to come out that direction, backwards. Because there's a step right here in the pump body that the bushing goes up against. When you put it in this way, it'll stop so far down. That way this bushing can't blow out against the seal. So you don't want to drive it out the wrong way and knock that lip off where you can't use the pump body no more. So pretty simple, Teresa.
Simple.
Okay, we're gonna get in here and get this apart now. Turn this a little bit this way.
So why do you think this doesn't have second gear?
Well, right now I believe the band's gone. And I think, pressure issues probably, is what I'm thinking. It doesn't have a good servo, and it's got a factory servo. We're gonna upgrade it a lot, so. But you can see here the second gear band is toast. But it's got enough lining on it to where if the servo reached farther, it would apply the band, and that's what it was doing. But it didn't have enough reach to apply the band in second. So, but you can see here, down to the rivets there and there. And there. Narrow band, wide band over there that we're putting back in it. Got your band anchor. Now these bands do come with this funny little thing in there. to the new guys, if you don't take that out and you put the band in and get it all together, you ain't getting it out that hole. You got to pull the pump out, pull everything back out to get that out of there. So always make it a habit of just looking for it. Because a lot of bands didn't ever come with that. So, and you can look here and see our drum. It's just totally gone. Which we have a brand new drum sitting over there on the bench. You can put a straight edge across this, and it could be straight, but as ugly as this thing is, I wouldn't use it anyway. But I've seen guys, I've torn them apart and have brand new bands on something like that. So. Now the wave right here, you can put that in two ways, but there's only a right. And what it is if you notice here, you want the center of the wave hitting the center of the steel. You don't want the outer like this, you want the inner like that and set it down in there. Now if you notice you have a feed or a bleed orifice hole right here with no check ball. A lot of the pistons have check balls. Well, this doesn't, because what happens is this plate flattens out and plugs that hole up just like a check ball. So, steels, all these holes in these steels are designed to get the oil off of them and stuff. So this drum right here too, they make a big and a small hole here. You do not want to mix them up. It was actually hurt just like I thought it was going to be. Now these are the 3 rings I was talking about, that if this bushing went out in the bottom of this stator down there, these right here would start rubbing inside that stator tube, and next thing you know you'd have all kinds of cross leaks. So, but you can apply air in these holes right here for your 3/4 clutch, your forward clutch, your engine brake clutch. I got an air blower I can put on here and blow in there and hold it and physically hold that clutch on.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but I don't want you to.
I know, I might get you, huh?
I know.
See, like this one right here. Also, if you want to check things before you take it totally apart and having to try to catch it after you build it, let me get this out. And of course, you got your shim right here. That is selective. But you want to look down through here. You want to take...
Oh, no, I've already been there.
You want to put some oil down in here around where this shaft presses into this drum. And what you want to do is you want to air check it and see if it leaks. Look all the way around there and see if you see any leaks right there. Don't see nothing there. Let me go to the next hole. Put it this way. Well, that's really nice. That thing ain't leaking at all. Look at that. None at all. So that's a really tight shaft down in this drum right here. Don't have to take it out. It's, I mean, really nice. Come in here, replace your rings. Scotch-Brite it up right here where your bushing's going to run. Now this train's all original, so it should have all the load springs in it. I can get that snap ring out. That thing's stuck in there. There we go. It's kind of positioned, kind of odd. Now, he pulls trailers all the time. The gentleman did before this gentleman bought the truck. So, get these load springs out of here. Which we always put our load springs back. Come on, get them out of there. Okay. But what I didn't want to dump this out of here yet. If you look down in here, see how these 3/4 clutches, see this clutch spline looks pretty decent, but if you look at these, see how the teeth are starting to chip away? Mm-hmm. That's from load. A lot of excessive load on that clutch right there. Wow. So, like I said, we're going to upgrade this one. Get a lot more clutches in this 3/4 clutch pack. Come with different steels and everything. So, and then we have our forward clutch snap ring. engine brake clutch and our forward clutch here. The splines actually look really good here. In other words, when he backs up and he comes to a complete stop when he puts it into drive. If not, you'll see teeth wear, people backing up, throwing it in drive before they come to a stop. You'll see that type of stuff. So our sun gear, our forward sun gear. Want to look on both sides, make sure there's no pitting or anything like that. Always put you a new forward sprag. And one thing you got to look for though is I hate it. When they went to these brass washers right here, they just love to eat into this hub right here. If you see this right, it's almost was locked in there, but they get so bad when you lock it in a groove, you can't even move it. It just spins like it's machined for it. But it'll start wearing there, and it'll start putting a lip on it right here. So we'll need to replace this with a new sprag assembly in this hub right here. And of course, we'll use a dual cage style sprag and setting over on the bench. You want to look here really good, make sure there's no chattering. Scotch-Brite this up good, put you some new bushings in here. Same here with this outer race. Make sure it ain't got no chatter marks. Scotch-Brite it up really nice. Tranny's actually looking really good so far. Really nice. Even though they've been towing with it, you know, somebody knew what they were doing when they were towing. So that's a big plus right there. Get this snap ring out of there. Come on. There we go. Our snap ring. Our forward planet. So you always want to look at every tooth on every gear, both directions. I'm going to check here where your bushing runs. You got your bearing. And then of course, this roller hub right here, they're always bad about wearing here. And being that he was towing a trailer and stuff, this is probably where we're going to see a little bit of wear if I can get it out of there. I wasn't quite prepared for everything, I guess you could say, huh, Teresa? I'm not using the right screwdriver. Come on. Tap this. Need my little pocket screwdriver for this. There we go. See if we see much wear in here. I don't have my glasses on today. You see a little bit of wear here. I thought I'd see a lot more on this hub. A lot of times they wear more on one side than the other too, so you want to spin it all the way around and look at it. You also want to look here where your bushing runs. You can see it has a narrow bushing. Our wide bushing is about a 1/4 inch wider than this narrow bushing that we'll be putting in that new sun gear over there. Plus they make an A and B hub for early and late too, so you got to be careful there because this bearing is being centered by the planet, not by the hub. Well, some hubs center the bearing, not the planet. So the bearing will physically be tight in here, but wobble here. So you got to be careful on what you do there. We're getting close, Teresa.
Yay!
Plastic tab, I always use them back. You don't have to put a brass in there. There's probably no benefit to it. Shell looks pretty good too. And we are still going to put a hardened shell in it. I mean, I can't tell if this is hardened or not. Don't see a lot of spline wear, so it possibly could be. Of course, the piston, the spring retainers still down in the case down there. You got your anti-clunk spring here. Of course, we have a 5-pinion planet here. We have our low reverse clutches and our wave. Any type of race car application, we'll do away with the wave, stack a couple of steels and set our clearances that way. That way we have a really quick release on our low reverse clutch from a manual low to shift to second. So it's going to be nice there. Sun gear, of course, like I was telling you, you want to look at the teeth all the way around on both sides. We replaced 90% of these. And then we also put a wide bushing down in here. We have a Sonex one sitting over there. So Same thing here. Inner race, you want to scotch brite it up really good. Put a new roller sprag here. Check your planet for any type of wobbling of the gears. Any type of wobbling. They move, you replace it. Look at this bearing down in here. Put your sun gear back in here and push on it. And see if you feel any type of anything in that bearing right there, because you can't tell by looking at that bearing if it's got a couple bad spots in the races or anything like that. So same way here, you want to look at the ring gear on both sides of the teeth. You can take it off here and it makes it a lot easier to look at. I didn't get a small screwdriver out here, so let me see if I can get it out of there anyway. They're tucked up under there pretty good. I just have to do it next video, but nope, I got it. There we go. Take that out. We don't very seldom ever see wear in here. Now these will split this ring gear though and strip it out in here, but I say you want to look on both sides. You have to turn it over this way and look here for any type of pitting or anything like that. So, Patricia, not too bad for our first tranny, huh? Pretty nice unit to go back through and put some really nice parts in it that we have here. Going to be a totally different unit when he gets it back. We're also going to be putting a big cooler on the nose of it, rear main ceiling cover. Going to be a really nice truck. Well guys, don't forget to subscribe, push the notification bell to the Richard and Teresa educational transmission videos on YouTube. Go subscribe. Like I said, we're back. We're having a lot of fun again. Huh, Teresa?
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned.